I think we can start now. Any other person that joins us will just hopefully they'll catch up what we're doing. So again, good evening everyone. You are welcome to
Yeah, they
today's.
can catch up because we need to be posting the link um for them, for those that might not be able to attend, post the link inside you Discord for them.
Yeah, I posted it on Discord.
Yeah. And also, some people might also even want to go back to watch it again, maybe during the week or something.
Okay. You mean the recorded link, right?
Yeah, for the session whenever we have them.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so no problem.
some people might just be caught up with other family commitment. Anything can happen. So that is
Yeah.
not something they can control. So we need to also cater for them. So then make sure that even though some of these videos we should be post, some of them, not all, we should be posting on YouTube. But
I sent you something. Today's one is going on YouTube.
okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah,
So,
today's
but
one.
not all should go on YouTube. But once
Yeah,
in a while,
just few
but
of them.
but every time we have a session like this, it should be in Discord.
Okay.
We
Okay.
post them on YouTube, but not all of them we're going to make public. You
Yes.
understand? Not all of them we're
Yeah,
going to make public. Some are we going to make private for people that are with us, but it's still going to be on YouTube, but not for the general public to see. It's private, so it's only
yeah.
people on Discord that will be able to see it.
Okay, sir, no problem, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, we can start. Mr. Shea is here. Good evening, sir. You're welcome. Okay. So,
Good evening, Mr. Harrison.
good evening, sir. I greet you.
How
You're
you doing
welcome.
now?
I'm good. I'm good. We thank God.
Worry boy.
I'm good. We thank God, sir. I'm
Yeah,
very. Yes, sir.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So I think without no delay, we'll get right into it. So since our midweek session, a lot has actually happened in the market from a fundamental perspective. We'll start with BTC today because some funny things happened. So yeah, we're looking at BTC, and when we looked at the last fundamentals, we spoke about how trade deals are going well. We had agreements between China and US, good. We had agreements between Canada and US. Not really that they have given official, announcement, but at least verbal agreements, which means they just had a conversation and decided, okay, you know what, let's go through with a trade deal. India too, and other countries trying to make deals. Now, those were good news that, affected BTC during the week. And you can see that BTC pushed higher than I even expected. I was not expecting BTC to push as high as it did this past week, but it did. So that one is there. Then now, fast forward, this is where there is now major, should I say, these are the major things now happening on BTC. We have three things. I told you guys, I said after the war, there are three other fundamentals I expect to move BTC and gold. Number one, trade deals tariffs. Number two, interest rate decision. Number three was job data, which is unemployment, and because that's another very important factor. Interest rate, inflation, they go hand in hand because they are used to counter each other in different situations. Now, this is what has happened here. The first thing, let's start with interest rates. We all know that Trump has been trying to pressure the Federal Reserve to reduce interest rates for the past few months. In short, since he entered um, position, you understand, since he entered became president, he has been pressuring cut rate. But the Federal Reserve is an independent government body that You can't command to do something. They take action based on data they have on the economy. So they've not cut rate. Why? Number one, because inflation in the US is sustainably not really low. You understand, but not really high, but at a very cautious level that they have to keep their eyes on. So that's why they've not cut rate. Now, what happened on Wednesday? ADP result came out showing that in the US, 33,000 jobs were lost in the past month. Now, that is bad news because it means that the Federal Reserve will have to cut rates since there is that kind of massive loss of jobs. You understand? Because if you cut rates, it will stimulate the economy. More money will flow in. It will be easier for employers to cut, which is business owners, small, medium term and enterprise business owners to cut expenses and also what's the name of this thing? Hire more people to work for them. So everybody started screaming they will cut rates, but NFP disappointed people or shocked people in the sense that it now came out that the data is actually good. The job data is good, and the data that came out on Wednesday, regardless of the fact that okay, that something thousand people lost jobs just in the last month, but NFP showed that everything is still good from a job perspective, in the sense that yes, a lot of people lost jobs, but a lot of people also got employed too. And that's one thing that ADP would not show you. So immediately that news came out, the rate cut talk just like it just disappeared. Now, in short, they even postponed that. There's now forecast showing that before we see a rate cut for the US is till September. Now, why is rate cut good for BTC? Let me explain. If they cut rates, it means that borrowing will be less expensive. And don't forget, I told you guys that the US government operates on a debt-based economy where they use credit card more than debit cards. Even the rich people sef, how they've moved finances from one place to another. People like Kiyosaki, you hear when he says it is borrowed money from the bank. So literally majority of individuals in the US, they operate or they take care of their day-to-day expenses for business, personal life based on debt liquidity. Now, if you cut rates as a nation like that operates based on debt liquidity, what happens is that there will be a lot of stimulation. People will be able to borrow a lot more money. They'll be able to go to banks, take a lot more because they will pay lesser interest. And when you do that, it means that they can now take a lot of, it encourages them to use their credit card more. Some of them might now go and invest in risk on assets like Bitcoin. And that is why the reduction of interest rates, it increases the price of BTC because it makes it cheaper for people to, especially the US, which is a major player in the crypto game, to for any individual to just purchase Bitcoin. You understand? So because of that, that's why for crypto holders, they have been praying that this rate cut come. But currently, it's not looking like it's going to happen because the report is showing that job data is good. In short, unemployment rate reduced in the US. Another thing is that tariffs. This is where tariffs links with what is happening regarding the interest rate. Tariffs have been, the war, it has been going on for almost 6 months now since the year started. Tariffs usually causes higher inflation. That is another angle to look at it from. So if tariff is going to cause higher inflation, it means that that is another reason why interest rate cannot even be reduced now, because normally interest rate is kept high to tackle high inflation. So everything now is pointing towards interest rate being stable. Like nobody's going to either reduce it. It's either they just leave it like that. You understand? They don't touch the rate, or they increase it small. But it is most likely that they are not going to reduce the interest rate July, because the news is going to come in the next 2 weeks on 30th of July. So they are not going to increase it. Now that is bad news for Bitcoin. Nobody is talking about that. But that is a very, very bad news for Bitcoin because it means that Federal Reserve, they are likely to leave interest rate the way it is July, August. Now, let's leave that aside. Tariff, don't forget that 3 months ago, Trump said something when he was giving all the tariffs, knocking them, just giving them any boost. He said one thing. He said, I will pause tariff for the next 90 days. I give you guys 90 days to make a deal with me. If you don't make a deal with me, then another boost for that till the end of the year. Now, what most people have forgotten is that that 90 days deadline is actually going to expire July 9th. It's actually going to expire on the 9th of July, which is 3 days from now. Now, a lot of people have forgotten that. Do you know what it means if that date come and it expires? And from what we can see, still, yes, we know that nations have made deals with US, but majority of them are still yet to make trade deals with US. So if on the 9th of July comes and nobody, like they are not done with negotiations and everything, the tariff effect is going to resume. So it means that trade war continues. Now you can see that now we have two potential bad news for BTC. One is already confirmed, which is interest rate. The other one now, in the next 3 days, it will be confirmed. So things are not looking, it is not really looking good again for BTC from a fundamental perspective. Not as the way it was actually looking as at last week. Things have switched, and this is why I tell people you have to be very, very informed because sentiments in this industry, it changes. Like tomorrow we can wake up now and Trump can decide to say he will um postpone tariffs till August. He will give them another he will extend the deadline, sorry. Something like that can happen. You understand? So for now, the way it's looking is looking bad. But still yet, for some reason, I feel like a lot of people are looking for major buys like that should push price up. We'll see, we'll analyze technically to see if it's actually going to play out that way. Then one major news that actually scattered the crypto community this week is that apparently there are two whales, we call them whales in the crypto industry. They've not touched their BTC wallets for almost, that's since 2011. That's almost 10 years plus now. And this week they moved their money, meaning that for the first time they logged into their wallet and they withdrew almost $2 billion. And that's what even cost sales that Friday, I think so. Yeah, they withdrew almost $2 billion and they sent it to exchanges. Now, that thing is another uncertain news. It can either be two things. They want to buy again, they want to buy more. You understand? They took profits and they want to buy again because they turned $2 billion to USDT and they deposited it into a crypto exchange called Kraken. So it's either they want to buy or they want to dump the market. So the fate of BTC holders are in the hands of those three people as we speak, because they hold, I think, how many percent of the market share of BTC. So we have three major things that can move Bitcoin. You understand? Three major news. This one I just said is number one. Interest rates, number two. Interest rate is very bad. It's looking bad for BTC. Then number three, we are looking at tariffs war resuming in the next 3 days. And somebody asked a question last week, said, what do you expect from USD? I remember saying that I expect short-term strength for the US dollar. And now I can see how everything is aligning now since that time. So with everything we know, let's just see how technicals are aligned. If technicals are still looking bearish or we are expecting to get one more, expansion to the upside. So we have been looking at this range. We looked at this range last week where this swing, sorry, you can call it swing range, anyone. I said this is the last key levels that if we get short-term sales for the next few weeks, I would expect price to come back to retest and expand back to the upside. Yeah. Then we went on to look at internal structure. What was happening? It was clear that price already took out various lows, and internally we are bearish. So Somebody is saying that my chart says BTC Tether, and Tether is USDT now. Tether is still USDT for that person that asked that question. So yeah, like I was saying, if you look at it, we are still bearish. We got after the all-time highs, we got pushed to the downside, still because of tariffs as at that time, and Elon Musk and Trump, voila, we got a push down, break of structure, retest. Now, is this retest that should show the strength of this high here, which it did, price respected premium levels? Let me show you guys. We got a if you flip from this swing high to this swing, you see that price respected our premium levels very well, pushed downwards again, and got another break of structure. So this is our current, this was the last swing level, internal swing level to push price down and break structure. So if we flip from that level to the current levels that we can see, was it this chart I used? I can't remember. But if you feel from that level, you see that price is dancing around that premium level. We got a push up, then we got several rejection, and we are back down. Now, if we now draw our supply area, which price is currently in, you see sorry. I think that was network. This network has started again, I beg. No, no, no. No. Sorry, can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, like I was saying, yeah, we have bearish order flow building internally. If we look, you see that price has currently tapped into our latest supply area because this is the last swing level from an internal structure perspective. This area here that push price down to break structure to the downside. And yes, price has tapped into that level. We've gotten a lot of rejections. You can see first rejection, 4 hour candle just rejecting from that area, showing selling pressure. You understand? Now, apart from that, if we go deeper into um lower time frames, you will see something. There's something I saw. Now, there's this level around there that is also important to look at. Let me show you guys before I go deep. So we have this level around here that is also important to keep our eyes on. Why? Because if we even extend this, you see that it has been a key level that has respected for some time. So at some point, when price was here, it acted as support. When price broke below, it acted as resistance. Got different touches, touch one, touch two, touch three. Then we broke above it, probably to sweep early sellers liquidity, tap into that supply area I talked about, and we've broken below it. Now, this is if you go to the 30 minutes time frame here, what you see is that when price was building up to enter this supply area, it's created factor bullish order flow where you just see the price was doing something like this, you understand? So what happened was that okay, price broke above that key level, we tested, pushed up, came back down, swept liquidity. If you go to 15 minutes, I think you will see it clearly. Swept liquidity, then tapped into this first level that expanded because this area here expanded price up like this. Then price came back, swept liquidity, tap. This was on Friday after NFP. Another push to the upside. Then we got another break of structure. Then we tapped into that supply again, and price dumped to take out this low. Now, from a fractal perspective, if you wanted to get continuation buys, we would have seen something like this, where as price came back down to respect, it just continues pushing upwards. But still here, what happened was that supply held its strength. You can see rejected from the supply, price pushed down, and currently we broke below that level. This is like a confirmation from that supply. This is what I call a confirmation. You can call it chalk. Some people call it internal break of structure. It is shy a confirmation because we got a push up, respect, swept liquidity, tap into a demand level, pushed up, break structure, price came down to now invalidate that low that should have held. This level should have held, you understand? And all this happening within that key level. Now we have broken below that key level again, and we are currently retesting it. You can see how price has been dancing around there. So me personally, this what I can see, or just by looking at it, is that we have gotten confirmation. This is like a confirmation from this supply area that sellers are actually still here. Sellers are actually still here. You understand? Around this area, because now it's acting like resistance. This is not the first time price is getting there. It's like first, second, now the third time, and we are currently still dancing. Now, what has happened is that let's take this off. If we take this off, what can we see? Price has given us, this is what I would call a confirmation. It has given us confirmation. It has taken out that low, and is looking good for something like this classic chalk retracement. After the break, push up, take out liquidity here, take out this liquidity here, tap into that chalk supply area, and continue pushing downwards. You understand? Price can do that because, like I said, it
My
has
phone
given
is happy.
information. But another thing that can happen, which is what I'm currently looking for, I sent this thing to the Discord channel, is that price might not even go as high as that level again. Price might actually just continue selling from where it currently is. You understand? Because we have that first area there. Well, I also love that when price dropped, we got this buy to sell candle that continued that expansion to the downside. So we are currently at another key area that we should be looking at. And just today, price has already swept liquidity into that area. Price took out all this liquidity impulsively into that area that I have my eyes on. So me, I'm expecting reactions from here. That's why I'm just watching this level. Or we might just get that, deep retracement back to this area here where we could see sales. But until that, other reasons why I perceive sales, I highlighted this area. This is a very liquid level. Why is it liquid? Why when price bought from this level, it was majorly of speculation. I forgot okay, yes, ceasefire. This is where the ceasefire, it was around the ceasefire stuff between Iran and Israel came. So a lot of traders, they just, FOMO into the market, fear of missing out. But even some institutions, and they bought off the, you know, anticipation that the ceasefire would happen, which actually happened and drove price upwards, you understand? So I look at it as a liquid level because apart from that, from a technical level, a premium discount level, it was not the best place I expected price to continue, expanding from. You understand? I expected somewhere deeper. And even if price comes here safe and invalid, there are other good areas that should continue that expansion to make new all-time highs. You understand? So I was surprised to see that just the hype from this level push price all the way deep and even almost taking out this current swing high that we are watching. You understand? So that is why this level is liquid because there are a lot of swing traders, a lot of different kind of traders that have taken trades from around these areas. I would just say somewhere like this, around these areas, and their stop losses are resting below. So that makes that place very liquid. And we also have more liquidity. This is where we got the last push to the upside. You understand? That was Thursday, Friday. So I would also assume that people might be waiting for, because this push, if you take out this here, if you take out this, let's take out this. Some people will look at it like this. That price pushed up, swept liquidity, expanded again, and they are expecting another retracement for continuation of that order flow. Very, very possible for people to, for other traders, or a lot of traders, they see the markets differently. So that's also another level I know that people will be looking to enter longs from. And to me, that area is also liquid. So we have a lot of liquidity levels below that I've been saying it for weeks, especially this 98K level that I expect price to come and take out. You understand? But what has been sustaining BTC above these levels are these fundamentals, the trade deals we were talking about that happened previously before this new development. So now what I'm waiting for is that if you look at it, if you look at it from a fundamental perspective, we are already like showing that bearish signs. The interest rates, those two guys that just opened their wallet and sold, that they started selling almost 80,000 Bitcoin. Then we also have tariffs issue that might start erupting again by that is around 9th of July. So we have those things that are coming up. Technicals, because this large candle now, this break of structure now has made a lot of people bullish, bullish, bullish. But technicals is still showing one thing. Overall, zoom out, we are still within this range, this high, this low. And if you look at the trend of this range that we have here and look at past data, we are still bearish. So longing from areas around there into all-time highs is a very risky business for now. Even shorting too is very risky. You understand? Is also, I would also say is risky because the fact that two people can open their wallets and just change direction of market, because they were the one that caused this fall when they deposited on Kraken and started selling. So it means that the fate of majority of BTC traders now hang not just in those fundamentals, but also in those people's hands. Because imagine if they decide to sell $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, it will dump. And people that are trying to buy, they will be taken out. And if they buy, it will pump. You understand? So we are in that kind of funny situation when you look at it from that perspective. But technically, I'm still very bearish on BTC. I still expect a reaction from where we currently are and a dump to the downside. I don't know. I don't believe price will come extreme this time. You understand? If we're going to get the sales that also aligns with the current interest rate stuff and all the negative news that has come out and is still going to come out till that 9th of July, I believe we'll get sales. We already have liquidity again. I just spotted this one that is still built here for fuel. And don't forget, we're already at this key level that we are looking at. So two levels I have my eyes on is where price currently is. Price has been trying to push up from here since I've been watching it. I've gotten two rejections now, but it is not the candlestick rejection is not really the best I want to say. That's why I'm still watching it. And we still have this level around there. So all in all, I have my eyes here for confirmations. If we get another extension to this level, I will still be very conservative and wait for good, confirmation. But until then, I'll just keep my eyes on it to see what price can do. But anything that makes price start selling bearish, like price starts selling aggressively, we are going to get sales for a long time until we take out this level. That's one thing. But if price pumps, that's another thing. Means that some fundamentals would have probably news will probably come out to make us know why price is pumping, either before it starts pumping or after. Because I tell you guys something, fundamentals pricing, I mean technicals can either price in fundamentals before it comes out or after, depending on how urgent it is. You understand? So those are other things that I've kept in my mind, and that's why I'm very conservative around this area here. So before I continue to go, any questions?
No, no, no questions. It's clear.
You clear?
Yeah,
You
it's clear.
sure?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. For everyone.
Clear, clear, Sean.
Yeah, now. Okay. So let's look at gold. Yeah. So for gold is not, there's nothing really much. If you look at gold, you see that it's the same thing we've been, yeah, identify this internal high. Now, okay, yes, before I continue, let's see how these fundamentals affect gold. Trade deals, trade deals, how does it affect gold? I would say that w- before, when deals were being, everybody, US is flowing with India, Canada, and everything, it's looking bad for gold because it started creating this kind of optimistic environment where traders are, there's no chaos in the market, so everything is looking good per se, you understand? So everything has been optimistic until this until today, where US reminded everyone that the deadline is on the 9th of July. You understand? And if the deadline, like I said, is on 9th of July and we get any kind of funny, news that sparks up more escalations, like for example, before the let me just say on the 8th, now you get a news that 9th of July is tomorrow, yet many countries have not submitted their final offer. And tomorrow, when the tomorrow when the deadline arrives, we the US will resume tariffs on everybody. That kind of thing is good for good because it means that trade war resumes. If trade war resumes, gold will fly because it is now um investors will now expect that, okay, it will affect traditional currencies like euro, GBP, CAD, Canadian dollar, and so on and so forth, and they will run back to gold. But at the same time, gold is in a very funny state because of the interest rate news. That is another major factor that can still affect gold. Why? Because if interest rate is not reduced, and if the US still keeps that optimistic, perspective about leaving interest rate as it is till like September, it is not good for gold too. That's where there's a correlation between BTC and gold. So on the other hand, gold can be in a situation where we have trade wars that can move gold up, and we have interest rate wahala that can push gold down. So we have like two conflicting fundamentals. Now, in this situation here, based on the context at that period in time, like this period in time now that we are currently in, from what I've seen, based on the context of that period in time in the past, gold will choose to price one of those news. So it's now me, I would say, from what I've seen, well, from what I saw last year, I would say that it depends on how Trump talks about tariffs on that night. There's how he will say that we'll finish all of you the way he has been doing, for the first 3 months of this year. If he says it like that, forget interest rate, gold will fly. You understand? But if he's conservative about it, if he's not really harsh about it, then price will continue to price in interest rate, and it means that long term would be seeing something like this, which I've shown you guys in the past few weeks. Something like this, where I expect price to come back to that swing and continue selling. So it is in the hand of Trump and how it on and how he decides to, address the economy. Everything now for good is in his hand. You understand? But I'm telling you, that trade stuff on the 9th of July can move gold up anyhow. Like it might even blast above this area that we are currently looking at. You understand? But it is tentative. Because if he wakes up and he says, "Do you know what? I want to give you guys more time to bring better deals till August." That one is bad for good. You understand? And in that scenario now, we'll now have complete, bearish news from a fundamental perspective on gold because the interest rate is already bearish. You get. So me, I'm waiting to see what is going to happen in the next few days. But currently, there is already this pessimistic, should I say, environment being built. Because if you go to CBNC, if you go to Bloomberg, if you go to different news, now they're already sending out news that deadline is approaching. People have not done that. They are creating fear in the market, and that fear alone, hype of fear can move gold up. You understand? So I'm keeping my eyes on gold. I expect one more push from gold from where it currently is. Yeah, to the upside, because I sent a setup and I looked at this level. That NFP sales was just, it was just to me just hype, because this is still liquidity. We have not really entered this area very well. So if we fib from here to this level, I don't know. There's a reason why I don't like using this FXCM chart. If we flip from here to this level, you see that we can still extend into 0.886 level, and we can give that sweep of liquidity, better shift of structure, continuation to the downside. And it would be very nice to take shots from there if the fundamentals continue to align bearish. You understand? Because for now, it is still very bearish until the ceasefire. You understand? Until there's a change, like, okay, we are going to extend, everything is not still looking good. So me, I'm just expecting short-term buys, a sweep of this liquidity into that high, the high of that range that we've been looking at, and continuation sales to come and take out liquid levels like this down into other key levels. So that's what I'm looking out for on gold. If we go down, let's see, let's imagine that price wants to buy, right? How would I position myself to take buys from around this area? We have this drop base. This is like consolidation. We've gotten expansion, which is that price cycle I tell you guys that I really love to always see when it's playing out. So we have something like that. We have consolidation, expansion, which took out, if we go to deep levels, took out structure here, took out this structure. We have liquidity here built in form of trend line, and also buy side liquidity that I identified on top. And gold likes hunting liquidity. Price has come back to this level here, and it has mitigated it, right? It even swept liquidity on its way down like this. It has mitigated that liquidity. Did it respect our discounts, the discount of this structure? Yes. Price tapped into it, rejected from 0.70 level, and has started pushing upwards. Now, apart from that, yeah, okay, which other thing can I see? I noticed something on Friday. Price was reacting from somewhere on gold. Yeah. Price was reacting from this area on gold, because if you look at it very well, resist, push up, turn to support, push down, push up back. Now we are resisting it. I believe that there's a lot of liquidity resting around here, or a lot of people might be planning to take shots from these areas. You understand? So that's more reason why I look at that level as liquidity. If we go and we look at this very well, we also have something like this here. You understand? So me, if I'm going to take buys on gold, yeah, if I'm going to take buys, mind you, I already gotten buys from around here. Yeah, I closed some position, but I'm still holding them. I'm still holding some other positions. Understand? So if I'm going to scale up on this particular buys to the upside, hopefully that price when market open, it doesn't just start selling because of all these interest rates news, because sometimes gold opens with a lot of volatility. I've noticed that this past few weeks. So if I'm going to continue taking buys, I want to just see something like this. Something like this. Something like this. Because price throughout Friday, you can look at it. If you look at my screen, you see it very well. Throughout Friday, we resisted this small structure around here, and we're also respecting this trend line too. So there was this confluence here. Now, if price takes out this area, it will also it has already invalidated the trend line, but it would be nice to see something like this happen before I say, okay, I'll scale in, because like I said, I already got in around here aggressively. Why did I enter aggressively? Because I saw this accumulation, this consolidation, and that was after price swept liquidity to the downside. Price swept this liquidity to the downside. So I already knew that price was going to consolidate and expand with force. That's why I took some buys, not even there, from around there, sorry. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, I took buys from around here because we were coming back to these areas again. You understand? We're coming back to these areas that price once used as support. So when we tapped into that level and I got some 3 minutes confirmation, just use fractal structure for my entry. I entered buys at around there. I've closed some when price approached this key level that I told you guys that I was watching. Now price has come back down and is giving more bullish, structure build. So if I see something like this, I'll be willing to scale in from around here and my target will be this high here. Then when price enters this supply area on gold, that is where the main thing comes in. Where we see if gold will do this or if sentiments will change and sorry, if Trump will just Trump just scatter everything and we get something like this. You understand? So time will tell. For people that trade retail, I don't really like using those patterns, but they will say this is head and shoulders. Am I correct? For people that trade this thing, right? Please, if you use retail patterns like head and shoulders, please confirm before I continue. Thank you. So I think here they see something like this and it's a sign that buyers are entering the market. I understand. So these are more reasons why we can get continuous buys from where we currently are into this area. Then I would be waiting to see. Okay, that's really okay. Adekunle, thank you for confirming. So I'll be waiting to see if price then, gives a valid reaction to continue selling and that interest rate fundamental continues pushing gold downwards. Me personally, I still feel like gold is going to sell aggressively. I've been saying it since when price was there. I'm expecting those aggressive sales to 320 levels. I expect real sales on gold. But I am not the one controlling market. Let's see what Trump and his guys would want to do when market opens. But for now, yes, I'm on longs on gold and I'm looking to scale in when the market opens, when I get those confirmation I spoke about. So that's what I'm looking out for on gold. Is it clear? Any questions? So if it's clear, you can respond though. So I'll be sure.
Yeah, it's clear from my end though.
Okay, 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 sure. All right, so that's all on gold, sure. Then EU. I said something else. I said me. I've not really been paying attention to EU and GU, but this is GU. This is GU. Where's EU? EU is still the main thing with EU is that we are from a weekly perspective we're at a very funny level here. Let me show you guys. Consider I've not even cleared my chart since how many weeks now? Because I've not really looked at EU. But we are at a very funny area in EU that can cause short-term sales. And why is that? Okay, so yeah, something like this. So price has entered this area. Price broke below this level. It once acted as resistance. You can see there were times it acted as resistance, times it acted as support, and we have retested that area. That's just one thing I took note of from a weekly perspective on EU. But if we go to the most recent structure, and yes, we're also still at those premium areas that I said that we could start getting selling pressure from. From a 4 hour perspective, you can see that we have been breaking structure to the upside, push, respect this trend line, push, respect, push, which is also like a break and retest of this resistance level that has now turned support. But the main thing is that we have this current should I say structural range where this low here push price up to take out this structure. Classic. If we go in depth into the structure, we see that after price did that, what happened was that if you go to the 1 hour, you see that price now continued forming some bullish structures within like this, sweeping liquidity, tap, break. Now this one is the last one that pushed price up. and now we are currently here. So I said something. I said I remember saying this on Wednesday. I said if price comes here and gives confirmation, we are going to continue getting buys because we have equal highs liquidity resting here. You understand? So we might get, even though the price wants to sell due to all the tariffs, we might get something like this, another extension before we see a major pullback to the downside. But it depends. It depends on what price decides to do and how those news comes out. You understand? But we are currently within this range. It's looking like we might still continue pushing upwards because price has reacted from here. I want to assume that this level that price has reacted from is a discount level. Let's see, swing high, swing low. Yes, you can see tap into discount, major rejection, started pushing upwards. I will not be surprised if market opens and does something like this before we start seeing sales, you understand? But me, I'm not really looking at EU in depth because my focus is on gold and BTC. Also G2, I think I did analysis weeks ago because what happened was I saw that price swept liquidity into major supply area. And yes, supply area from a weekly perspective. Sorry. Yes, this supply area, you can see it here. This nice buy to sell candle price has currently entered that area. If you go back to the weekly, it is aligned very nicely with what level? The 0.886 level. And immediately we tapped into that area, you can see the massive sales we saw last week. You understand? And guess what? Price is still building more liquidity. You understand? Price is still building more liquidity. And we are currently, everything that is happening within, let's take this off, within this structure. This is the last low that swept liquidity, major swing low, and push price up to take out this structure. And it's also a break and retest of a former resistance level. So if you look at all that, we are currently trading within this swing structure, this swing low and this swing high that has currently reacted from that area. So what I'm expecting is that we are likely to get a short-term pullback here. Then when price gets here, we decide what it wants to do. Now, price has tapped into that fib level and also that supply level from a weekly perspective. What price did was I gave confirmation because what happened was that during the week, we saw price sweep liquidity. After sweep, we got a push up and a break of structure. You understand? So you expect that on the retracement, this level should hold, and that's where we are currently battling with. Funny enough, this level should hold. You understand? This demand level should hold. Yeah, you expect that this demand level should hold, but what happens is that price filled it aggressively, and now we can see that we have gotten this like a change of character, and a change of character will signal deep retracement back to the discount level of this swing, which is also in line with this trend line that we have here. So I will not be surprised if we see now, I just saw something. This is the level that should have held. Sorry. This is a level that should have held, this demand level, and we are currently battling it as a resistance level. So price can, open. Price can open and continue selling, maybe push up a bit and continue selling since we have this liquidity resting below, or price can retrace deep, which I would prefer. Tap into this extreme level, confirmation, and continue selling. This is actually looking good for GU. It's a setup to keep our eyes on. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking out for on GU. Maybe one of these scenarios on GBP USD. But like I said, my main focus still rests on gold and BTC because that's where fundamentals are hot now, and that's my strength. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking out for on G. I think I will add G to what I'll be looking out for this week. Yeah, so any questions? Sorry, any questions before we round up or something? If you have questions, ask. Oh.
Uh, Harry,
Yeah,
excuse me.
yeah, I can hear you, Adekunle. You
Something.
said something.
Yeah, there's something I
What?
want to ask you. Go to like 5 minutes or 15 minutes time frame from where market sold from last week.
15
Yeah,
minutes.
Let me check. Where is that place? There's somewhere I no. Let me observe from. Let me check my phone and see from the level. That
Okay.
okay. From that 3342 level.
Is it good?
Oh, okay. This is yeah, good. Sorry, not this pair. Sorry, good.
Okay, let's use good. And yeah, three three four
Yeah.
two level.
So last weekend, this I was going to sell from here, sha, before. Though I was looking at that liquidity at the top. You get, does
Yeah,
this thing, does it not count as kind of a break of structure from the small time frame? This which level is this one self? No, where market so from just go up. Yeah. No, come down, come
mhm.
down. That's 3345 level.
Three
Just
three four five.
um
Around here.
yes, around here. Yeah, come to your right. Take it to your right. This place that market sold from.
Mm.
Are you seeing what I'm talking about? The
Yes, yeah, market sold.
sold from here
Abby.
and then retrace back. Yes, then come back to the retracement. Yes, after this retracement, the market broke this. Should I call it break of structure or little bit of change of character? Then it's
Change of character, Abby, and he sold.
yeah. So I was looking at it. I wanted to sell, but when you brought your buy bias to, I just said, okay, maybe maybe I'm kind of wrong. So I just watched what the market did. You get, so I was trying to observe if that change of character wasn't valid on that small
This
time.
one.
Yeah,
When it happened, he actually sold though. If you reason it,
yeah,
it's
because
like it's fractal structure, so he sold.
I was actually observing it, but I
Yeah,
was still
he sold.
because of this liquidity at the top. So
The only issue is that me, I like trading where I see price moving towards.
uh,
And those are for pairs like gold, BTC, most times it is always pushing towards liquid levels. You understand? And I looked, if you look down, price has swept necessary liquidity around this area. Well, there's something I used to ask myself when it comes to liquidity. Liquidity, it is what liquidity has been swept and which one is left to be taken out.
yeah,
And when I ask myself that question with this current structure we have, I can only see liquidity to the upside.
yeah,
You understand? So
yeah,
yeah, so you can still because I from what you're saying now, you might be that means you are looking to take sales from somewhere here.
yeah, something like that. But another thing is,
You can still watch it now. You can still watch it. Anything can happen. You understand?
yeah,
Anything can happen in the market depending on how market opens, and like I said, all those news just start coming out, because from Monday immediately 12 o'clock knock. You know how Trump likes to do midnight. They
yeah,
are, I think when we are at 9 they are day, something like that. So you can just see one or two news and it can cause anything, but I just give analysis based on what I can see. So you can still watch out for maybe a continuation sales like this if that's what you are seeing. It's
yeah,
possible.
something like that.
Anything is possible.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, just keep your mind open. You
Okay,
understand? You know, I used to tell you guys something. Uh, have a like do your analysis, but when you're done, because people use this word, I have a bias. I have a bias. There's nothing wrong with having a bias. But me, what I normally say is I work on probability. So what's the probability of this thing happening? You
yeah, I get,
understand? This first bias I've gotten happening. What's the probability of the other one happening? Then when I align it with technicals and all the other information I get from a fundamental perspective, that's when I know that okay, from what I'm seeing, it is likely that that's why I like using that word. It's likely that we might see this happen. We might see this happen. So even with that, I don't even say it, this is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. So if you keep your mind open like that after your analysis, you will not rush into sales. You understand? You wait patiently, and if you see what you're looking for, here. But if you don't, it will save you money that should have gone. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. All right. So, any other questions before we wrap up today's session? Okay, Mr. Shisi. Using us when not dey trade BTC or gold. G or EU, now your team before you just lock up recently, show love. Okay, no problem, no problem. I will, especially GU. I love what I saw on GU. I won't lie. I love what I saw on GU. So I will keep my eyes on GBP USD this week. If you print in a way that I love seeing it too, like I love seeing price print, I also keep my eyes on Euro, but for sure GU, why not? Yes. GU, I'm going to keep my eyes on GU, and if I see any setup, I will send Mr. Shi. So yeah, I think that should deal with that. So any other questions before we round up? Derek, do you have any question? I see Derek is here. If you get question, talk, because I know say you come knock me questions privately, but regardless, I think that's all. That's all. I'll send clearer setups. I think I already sent BTC setup before this analysis session on what I'm expecting. I did send set my view on BTC, so we can just use that one as guide to be watching. Then for gold, I will send a clearer setup. I already sent this setup to you guys on BTCs in the Discord, so you can just be watching it. For good, like I said, I will send the clearer setup so that you guys can also watch, and also GBP USD. Just stay active. On Wednesday, we are going to come back again. Yeah, you know, if I see any major development, even on Monday, I feel send link. May I just show now. Okay, this is what I'm seeing now. Just watch it, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that. Then maybe Wednesday we'll have that live class that professor spoke about, teaching in-depth structure. And maybe, yes, I will also have to teach some things because I've gotten questions like, what do you mean by these structural waves and all those things? Yeah. So yes, that class we hold. That class we hold by God's grace, if prof is available, and we will both go deep into market structure and how it has evolved over time. Yeah, so yeah, that's that, child. So I think that answers your question. Kiss me. One, yeah. That answers your question. Wednesday. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So I think with that we can call it a day today. And I'll see you guys in the next session. Please stay active. It can be Wednesday, but we might also anything can come up that can make me send link on Tuesday, on Monday. So just stay active, Sha. And I pray that this coming week shall be fruitful for us all and bless for us all in Jesus' name. Amen. So thank you all for coming. I'll see you guys next week or this later this week.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
All right. All
God
right.
bless.
JJ, I cited you. Today, stay to the end of the session. You're welcome, and I wish you a great week too. See you all next week. See you, Emanuela. I can see you here too, and every other person. Take care.